So Brain Awareness Week, it's an international initiative. It was initiated about 15, 16 years ago by a foundation in the United States, Dana Foundation. And they sort of start running it from that moment on every year. And it spread, the interest into this Brain Awareness Week spread like wildfire into the international neuroscience community, because there is an important point, the fact that the neuroscientists and the scientists in general would do very good to sort of come out and start talking about the neuroscience and the importance of neuroscience, to let the people know, to let the public at large know more details about how the brain works, how the brain is put together, what kind of research is taking place in the field of neuroscience. So all this was, as I said, initiated about 16 years ago. The importance of Brain Awareness Week is that it allows, or rather encourages, the scientists, the neuroscientists, to come out and engage the public. Tell the public at large what is neuroscience all about, how the brain is structured, how the brain functions, both in health but also in disease, and telling people and educating people about what is taking place in respect with the functioning of the brain, but also very importantly educating and telling people what research is taking place.
Being aware of brains and the research that's going on about brains is very important, because there are so many health implications of understanding how brains work and what goes wrong in diseases of the brains.
There is a Roman saying, a Latin saying, mens sana in corpore sano, which means a maintenance of a good mind takes place in a good body, in a healthy body. There would be a lot of things which people could do, and I would say should do, about maintaining a good mental output. And that would be exercises, proper diet, engaging with all sorts of brain demanding activities like learning foreign languages or doing all sorts of puzzles, crosswords and these sorts of activities.
An exercised brain is a healthy brain, so keeping using your brain is very important. And as our lifespan increases up into the 80s and 90s, it's critical that we actually keep using our brains actively and keep them young, essentially. That's the real secret, I think, using them, not letting them go to waste. There's always a sort of myth that we only ever use 10% of our brains and the other 90% are somehow just there for no very good reason. I don't think that's the case. I think we're always using most of our brains all the time. Whether or not we're using it to our full potential is actually a very difficult question to ask. And it seems like the more you use the brain, the more capacity the brain has. In other words, it sort of adapts to the amount of use you make of it. So it's very clear now that if you have a lifestyle which demands continuous brain use, in other words, you're always actively engaged in whatever task you're engaged in, then your brain stays younger and healthier. If you have a very sort of sedentary, unchanging life where there's not very much sort of exposure to new ideas and new events and things, then that's the worst thing you can do. Your brain essentially doesn't keep up with changing events. So it's sort of use it or lose it is actually quite true in the case of the brain.
I think it is because it gets people interested in science, because there isn't enough people doing science. So I think, and this is a nice way as well because it's full of fun things and a lot of different like hands-on things. I want to get my EEG taken of it. That's what I'm wanting to do. Like on here, I think that's, do you know what I mean? That gets people involved, and then that, I don't know, that's better, isn't it, than just like your classroom learning, just have a bit of applications.
Yeah, I think it's good. And I think it's very important to get children interested in science, and because they don't have many, my oldest son's just gone to university and there's not many people applying for sciences, so I think it's important that children come here and see how amazing the brain is.
It overtakes me, it overtakes me, oh, it overtakes me, it master slaves me.